Welcome back from wherever you are on this planet that we share. My name is Brian. This is my channel, Pipe Currency. If you have Instagram, you can find me on Instagram at pipe_currency. Everyone is welcome, of course. Today, I'm going to introduce a new segment on my channel that I'll be running monthly. I'm going to discuss 8 different pipe tobaccos and tell you whether or not I think they are overrated, underrated, or appropriately rated. Now, I've been smoking a pipe for almost 11 years, and I'm going to couple my experience smoking these tobaccos with what I've seen on both Instagram and the YTPC. Of course, my opinion isn't the definitive one, and I encourage you to share your opinions about these tobaccos in the comment section below. And also tell me if you enjoyed this segment, as I plan on running it for at least well into 2026. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. I'm a visual person, and I've provided visuals for this video. The first tobacco I want to talk about is Former's Bird's Eye Flake. This is a lovely vapor, and I think it's a very sweet, nutty, and spicy vapor that I think is often overlooked in the YTPC. You know, people focus on Peterson Navy Rolls and Solani 633 and Escudo. Escudo I'll be talking about here in a minute. But I think, as I said, this is a very overlooked tobacco. I've had it with 2 years. I've had it with a little more age on it. It's really quite good. In fact, I have 2 tins of this in Canada from 2013, which I really need to get cracked. But I really encourage you to look into the whole Former's line is really quite good. But I particularly like Bird's Eye Flake. I think it's a great candidate for aging. Now, I've seen some reviews where some people have stated that it's spicier than the average vapor. I don't particularly agree with that. I think it has an appropriate amount of spice. And once again, I think Former's Bird's Eye Flake is a underrated tobacco. All right, let's continue here. You may never have heard of this tobacco, but it's a bulk blend by Four Noggins. First of all, shout out to Four Noggins. They are a friend of the Canadian and international pipe smoker. I appreciate them very much. But they have a bulk blend called Northstar. It is a Virginia Oriental Perique. I haven't seen anyone talk about this tobacco in about a decade. When I was new to pipe smoking, someone posted a review of Northstar, and it sold me on it, and I picked up 2 ounces, and the first bowl I really liked, but after that I kind of fell out of love with it, especially considering I was smoking Robert McConnell's Oriental, which is a superior smoke to this. But it's a good all-day Balkan to smoke. It's not particularly expensive. It's also not particularly challenging or exciting. And if you've never heard of it, I don't blame you. There's nothing about it that really stands out. So I think Four Noggins bulk blend Northstar is appropriately rated, which means nobody knows about it, and there's probably a reason why. Okay, let's continue here, guys. Let's look at, I told you I was going to talk about Escudo, and we're going to talk about it now. It is one of the most famous tobaccos on the YTPC, and on Instagram you see people posting about this all the time. It's a great candidate for cellaring, and I like Escudo. I think Escudo is a nice bready vapor, one that I certainly enjoy having. I've had it at 2 years, and I've had it at 6 years, and I still have a tin of it in Canada with 11 years. However, I think there are better vapors out there. I've mentioned Solani 633. I've mentioned Peterson Navy Rolls. I think these are superior tobaccos to Escudo. Yet Escudo gets it's often acclaimed as the chief vapor on the market. My buddy Diehl has been smoking a pipe for 25 years, and he claims that the quality of Escudo has really gone down over the years. I don't know if that's true, but I trust him. But to me, I think Escudo is a slightly overrated tobacco. Again, I like Escudo. I would encourage you to smoke it, but I don't think the quality of the tobacco meets its reputation. So Escudo, you are slightly overrated, in my opinion. All right, let's continue this along. Come on now. Here we go. I love the tin art on this. This is Drucquer & Sons' First Amendment. So First Amendment is a Virginia Latakia Perique Burley Black Cavendish Flake. I picked up a tin of this when it came out, and everyone was talking about First Amendment. I let it age for 2 years, and I popped open the tin, and I smoked it, and it was good. The quality is good, but it doesn't really separate itself from other tobaccos. In fact, I've only tried a few Drucquer & Sons offerings, but I've been pretty underwhelmed with most of them. It's not that they're bad. The quality is certainly there. There's just nothing about it that really stands out. Again, I like First Amendment. It's very smokable tobacco. I smoked the first half of the tin, and I gave the second half to a buddy of mine. I don't think I would rebuy it. But you know, the tin art on this is so wonderful. I wish GLPs would switch to tins like this. How cool would that tin art be on a tin like this? It would just be one of the most outstanding tin arts on the market. Regardless, I think a lot of people were talking about First Amendment when it first came out, and there was a lot of excitement about it, but it has completely died off. I'm sure some of you out there have never even seen a review of this, and there's a reason for that. It's good. It's just nothing about it that, as I said, that stands out. So I think First Amendment by Drucquer and Sons is appropriately rated. At first, it was really a lot of people talking about it. Now, no one's talking about it, and I think it's balanced itself out along the way. I think it's worth. If you're curious about it, it's certainly worth picking up once, but I personally wouldn't rebuy First Amendment by Drucquer and Sons. Okay, let's keep moving along here. McBaren Plum Cake. This is a legendary tobacco on the YTPC. I got a tin of this back in late 2018, early 2019, a 100-gram tin, and I was dying to try it. Now, if you've never heard of McBaren Plum Cake or never tried it, it is a bright Virginia Burley Black Cavendish. It's considered a Scottish, and it has like a plum or a rum topping on it. And to be honest with you, I've never really got on with the regular McBaren tobaccos. The HH line I really like, but the regular McBaren, I just never connect it with any of them. And I never really connect it with Plum Cake. Now, Plum Cake has its fans. This is a classic, legendary blend in the history of pipe smoking. But for me, I didn't think it was worth investing time smoking this tobacco. And maybe it was good to use it to mix with other tobaccos. It made things a little more interesting. But on its own, it was just never my cup of tea, and it bit. And that was another problem. As you know, the ongoing running joke is that people say McBaren tobacco should be called McBite, right? So with Plum Cake by McBaren, I think it's a slightly overrated tobacco. I'm not sure you can find it. I think you'd have to go to a pipe show. Look, if you've never tried Plum Cake and you're curious about it, and you go to a pipe show and you can find it for a decent price, it's certainly worth a try. But this is another tobacco I wouldn't ever purchase again, and I do think it's kind of overrated. All right, let's look at another one here. We have Navigator by GLPs. Navigator is a Virginia, Kentucky, I believe. Yeah, Virginia, Darkfire, Kentucky. It's a flake. It's moderate in strength, and I find it was really, I remember it being like soured stew fruit. There's a nice amount of spice, and it's medium strength. It's very similar to, and it has a bit of a rum topping on it. It's very similar to Sixpence, although I think this is the weaker sister of Sixpence. Sixpence also has a different type of alcohol topping on it, and it comes with Perique. But I think this is a very underrated tobacco in the GLP's lineup. I picked up a couple tins of this in 2022, and I smoked one in 2024, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an excellent tobacco. I was also smoking Sixpence at the same time, so I got to compare the two of them. And if I couldn't get Sixpence, I'd be very happy with Navigator. Again, I don't think it's as good as Sixpence. If I had the choice, I would go with Sixpence, but I think GLP's Navigator is a very underrated tobacco. It's worth picking up a tin or two and throwing it in your cellar for a couple of years and giving it a try. As I said, GLP's, I've yet to meet a GLP's I never got on with, but this is one I don't see a lot of people talking about, and I do think it's an underrated offering by GLP. So GLP's Navigator, underrated tobacco. Oh yeah, here we fucking go. All right, Frog Morton Cellar by McClellan's. You know, in 1939, when the Nazi foreign minister Joachim von Ribbentrop visited Moscow and they signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, after they signed the pact, Stalin looked at Ribbentrop and said, "It's so nice that we're getting along and we're friends after years of dumping buckets of shit on each other's heads." Well, that's how I feel about Frog Morton Cellar. I've been spending years dumping buckets of shit on it, and Frog Morton Cellar's been dumping buckets of shit on me. We just don't get along. We're not friends. When I was new to pipe smoking, the YTPC recommended Mississippi River and Bullseye Flake and Orlick Golden Slice, and Frog Morton Cellar was another one. And I tried it when I was new to pipe smoking, and I didn't really get on with it very well. And then in 2017, when I returned to Canada from living in Ukraine, we have air raid sirens. When I returned to Canada from living in Ukraine, I cracked open another tin of Frog Morton Cellar, and again, I just didn't get along with it, and I gave it to a friend of mine. It's a Virginia Latakia with a whiskey topping, and I just never connected with this tobacco. If you go on the Four Noggins website right now on their consignment section, you can find a 2018 tin, 100-gram tin of Frog Morton Cellar for $335 American dollars. For the exact same price, you can get 18 tins of sixpence with taxes and delivery. You heard that right. 18 tins of sixpence for the same price as Frog Morton Cellar. Now, I know this tobacco has its fans. It's another one of those legendary tobaccos on the YTPC. And I remember when I joined, everyone was talking about Frog Morton Cellar. Its popularity has always eluded me. McClellan's Frog Morton Cellar, you are the most overrated tobacco, in my opinion, in the history of the YTPC. Okay, let's finish on a positive note, guys. I try to be a positive person. Let's finish on a positive note. Cornell and Diehl's Professor. It is a Virginia Latakia Perique Black Cavendish. It's ribbon cut. It's a very mellow smoke, a nice mellow English. And it's the Latakia I find is really ideal. It's not particularly strong. It's more of a mild Latakia. The Pipe Professor did a review of this a couple of years ago, sold me on it. I picked up a tin. I let it age 2 years. I popped it open in early 2024, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a very underappreciated, excellent English. I'm not a big English guy anymore, but this one for me really hit the spot. Maybe it's not at the level of Early Morning Pipe or Ashton's Artisan Blend. It's a little bit more mellow than those tobaccos, but I really think this is one worth exploring. I would just get one tin if I were you, let it age for a couple of years, and then I think you will be well rewarded to give Cornell and Diehl's Professor a try. So, Cornell and Diehl's English Pipe Tobacco Professor is an underrated tobacco on the market. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this content, please tell me in the comments section and let me know what you think of these tobaccos I just spoke about. We have some air raid sirens, so I should probably get going, but I will talk to you in October, where I will be discussing a tobacco that I think is better than Penzance, and I have not yet discussed it on my channel, plus another tobacco by Cornell and Diehl that when I opened the tin, I liked it, but by the time I got to the end of the tin, I wasn't sure what I thought about it. And I'll be discussing that one in episode 2 in October. I'll talk to you all very soon.